What kind of
Okay, calm down.
animal does some shit like this?
So I realized that was a rough start to a video. But this one was, didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to. We put a window regulator in. That went probably exactly how you would expect it, for a whole bunch of nuts and bolts to be behind another panel where you can't get your arms and hands in there. Whenever I decided to release the whole regulator so I could get better to the bolts of the motor, then that thing turned into some kind of guillotine that tried to kill me a couple times. Thought it shattered the window one time. That was a shit show. And then but yeah, so it works now. So I don't even know how, because I'm not sure where that tension came from that was causing the guillotine. But whatever. Like, I had the window taped up at one point in time and it still snapped. You know what? We're getting off topic. You can watch the rest of the video. You'll see that I had a great time doing that. And then I changed my battery out for my laptop that I've been fighting for, I don't know, 6 months with no battery power. Like, if power goes out, I'll immediately lose everything I was doing, have to start over. So that's going to be a nice addition to the setup. And then I also did a review. So while I was doing the review, I was recording a long time lapse with the camera we're recording with now. Then I used my phone to like record the iPad thing, and to record like a couple odds and ends while I was working on stuff while the review was going. I cannot get any of that video to transfer and be usable. It's something about I need a HVEC or HCEV codecs, something or another. It's like 99 cents. Like, Windows, do better. You know what I mean? Like, we're transferring MP4 files in 2024. How can this be confusing? Or you and Apple got together and planned it so that it'd be even harder to ship stuff across platform, which is stupid. You should always try and make it so you can use Apple, because that's the predominant people. And you know what? Enjoy the rest of the video. It's going to be jumbled. It's going to be wild. We got the window regulator working. We got the laptop's battery pack replaced. That actually works good. So we're going to measure it as a success. Here you go. The handle appears to be all T30s for the 3 screws that hold it in. Alright, so there's 2 screws here and here that hold this plate on for the lock plate. There's one that's behind the lock plate that holds the whole front half on. Everything else is free. Then there's 2 at the very back that hold it near the door handle itself. And then the lock mechanism is somehow or another just kind of clipped on there. So for this lock mechanism, I'm thinking what you actually do is slide it in while the
body covers or the switch panel is on. Slide it into the gap and then just rotate it down, push it down tight. I think it'll probably click into place. We'll see how it plays out next time. All right, now to pop some panels, I think. So everything I've watched on pulling these panels off seems to be this piece up here is kind of a pain in the tail to keep on the door panel itself. Everybody had their window rolled down. They were like replacing slow motors. So yeah, I don't really know how this is gonna play out. So this piece clips over top of the metal of the door frame. There's a bunch of clips around the door card itself. So we're gonna run around, pop all the clips on the door card, and then we're gonna try and get this off, hopefully in one piece. We'll see what happens. All right, I think that's got all of our clips across the bottom of the door done. I think I might just try and maybe get this started. Long screwdriver, maybe. All right, we're gonna pause for a second. Worth a Google. Okay, here's where we are. I think I'm going to tear the top of the door panel up worse than it already is if I continue trying to remove it. Basically, it's got some hooks that are on the inside of the glass. Well, the back of the glass is on the back of them, and so it's really hard to rotate them out of the channel that they're in without, well, breaking plastic or tearing up something. So I think I'm gonna lay on my back and remove the motor, put the motor back in, then we could lower the window down, then I could reassemble the top edge, and then. All right, so that's 106 on the on the back screen. There's 110. There's 109.7 ballpark. You can tell I ran basically one battery through it. And then screen on the front is 125. Body's 117, 125, 130 on the lens area. So she is burnt. Let me see what the battery shows. All right, well, seeing how there's a date of 2012 on here, I would say somebody has already been in here. I wonder if I can get over to I'm going to use y'all to hold the door panel up and film all at one time. It's freaking genius. Alright, that'll give us a little bit more space right here. I don't know how we're going to get those off. I actually riveted it back in. Alright, well, I guess before we actually remove this thing, we should probably make sure. Alright, since y'all are holding the door panel, I'm going to stop you for a second. Alright, so I plugged in the new motor just to make sure it worked. It did, so now we're going to attempt to drill out these rivets. Alright, rivets are out and free. Now what do we need to pull out? We're still super snug. Still got the window all the way to the top. So, yeah, I guess, let me see what we need to pull out to finish moving this. I'm guessing these two Phillips heads right here. Alright, hopefully your spot hasn't changed, so you should notice a large difference here and here. I drilled the first two holes out to get to the first set of screws. I want to say that I might have to drill another one out up here somewhere. I don't know. We'll get these two out and see what happens. What kind of animal does some shit like this? Alright, like a responsible adult, I calmly finished removing the door panel gently, you know. And it came out pretty good except for in this area, you know. And then one of these broke. That one right there. So basically a perfect textbook removal, carefully not to damage anything. Now we can see properly that the GM engineers from this time frame, let me just say this. I say we round up every engineer's family members from GM in 1991 just on this window unit alone. And we just the entire nation gets to take turns kicking them directly in the nuts. What the? Okay, so like I said, I gently removed the door panel so we can see more clearly. And so far, it hasn't helped at all. I removed these 2 screws, which I think were factory rivets. And that's supposed to release the regulator so we can move it around where we want it to be. All it did was roll up, you know. The window did move, so looks like windows are doing window things. So yeah, we just have to figure out a way to get the last of the screws loose. And maybe with all this off, I can just reach in over top. Like I could reach right there and get to that screw. Maybe with a pair of needle nose pliers. So yeah, we're just gonna dig around for a while, see what we can do. All right, here's where we at. I had to take me an extended break, get that old blood pressures down. I got 2 replacement nuts with a locking free spinning nut on the back of it. Sorry, bolts with a locking free spinning nut on the back of it. Similar to the one that I found there already. All right, so right now what I'm fighting is I drilled these 2 rivets out. Then there was 2 bolts that were here. They're holding like this entire framework where it's supposed to be, and for whatever reason that has caused this whole thing to attempt to rocket ship to the sky. I don't even know why. I do know that this was on the inside of here, so I'm gonna have to free everything up, move it back into that position, then tighten everything down, and we'll go from there. I finally have the regulator bolted back into place where it's supposed to be. I just want to say I hope that the engineer that designed the window setup on the 82 to 92 Camaro is whole family has that bad luck thing like you remember the Holes movie? You know, where the family was like forever in trouble because the dude didn't. Yeah, that. I want everybody to have crotch crabs in the whole family forever. I hope that's what the curse they got is. Anyway. All right, now that I've got myself back to where I was initially trying to begin with, I'm going to start my process of attempting to put the motor back in. Okay. Well, the window works. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed making fun of me for doing a terrible job of putting it in and tearing up the door panels and all that stuff. Feel free to write a comment below on all the different ways that I screwed this thing up. Clearly I did. It does work though, so if it works, is it a dumb idea? Anyhow, hopefully next week goes a little smoother. We'll have a little less technical difficulties and a little better day. We got a drop down cable for the transmission. Supposed to be picking that up tomorrow. We got some Kilmots that we ordered up to put in the doors and probably in some other places. Maybe whenever we do the carpet, we'll put some down on the floors, try and really bring the noise levels down low in the car. Be really nice. It's actually not a bad car to ride in already. The only thing that actually makes a lot of noise is the T-tops. So when the T-tops are out, I don't think it's as noisy as when the T-tops are in. So the actual wind blowing through the car is less noisy than the howl that the T-tops that we have make. So hopefully one day we'll get a fresh set of T-tops to secure that. With that being said, I hope y'all at least enjoyed laughing at me fighting the hell out of this car. If you enjoyed making fun of me, like, subscribe, do whatever, all that stuff.
I will be back at it again next week with yet another video of me doing something that I am poorly trained to do. We'll see y'all next time.